The other thing I want to tell you about is the case that has recently happened. We had working with a group that has a client by the name of Abdul Aziz Naji, and he is an Algerian. He's been in Guantanamo since 2002. Everybody likewise agrees that he has never raised arms against the United States. He has medical issues. He lost a limb prior to coming to Guantanamo, and he's been ill-fitted with a prosthetic leg that has been causing him pain and problems. The United States wanted to release him to Algeria. His lawyers said you cannot release him to Algeria because he fears persecution. And what Mr. Naji called it dancing between fires. And what he means by that is that coming from Algeria, where he used to actually fight in the military against fundamentalists, he's got two problems. And one is the Algerian military, and the other one is the fundamentalists. If he goes back, the Algerian military, because he's been branded as a terrorist, is now going to detain him and interrogate him and possibly hurt him because they think that he might be a terrorist. On the other hand, the fundamentalists that know that he was part of the Algerian military are going to try to kill him. And so this was an issue that was raised in the courts, and in fact it went up and there was a petition to the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court denied. So a week after the Supreme Court decided to let this happen, Mr. Naji was sent to Algeria against the wishes of his lawyers in violation, as we argued, to the court of the UN Convention of Torture. You cannot send people to places where they're likely to be tortured. Well, a few days after he was sent to Algeria, nobody, and I mean nobody, knows where he is.
Which was just last week.
Which was just last week.
This week, actually.
It was just this week. Nobody knows where he is.
He was transferred, which means he was given to the custody of the Algerian government.
Given to the custody of the Algerian government. And after inquiries by the Center for Constitutional Rights and Human Rights Watch, that the lawyers are saying, our lawyers are saying, that according to what they've been hearing, there's been no record of anyone of that name actually landing in Algeria, even though he was transferred by U.S. military transport into Algerian custody. And that folks on the ground for a while in Algeria were saying, we don't know where he is. Well, after a lot of pushing and scratching by human rights groups, and again, not by the U.S. government, there was a report in Al Hayat, an Arabic language newspaper, that quoted an unnamed government source as saying, yes, we have Mr. Naji, and we are doing routine interrogation of him, and he's going to be transferred into the court system soon. But that has never been officially acknowledged by the Algerian government. That's just one unnamed source. But so what we end up with is a situation where we are transferring people into the very type of regime that we are trying to emerge of here. Regimes of disappearing people, regimes of secrecy, regimes of where the intelligence and police are torturing and interrogating people outside of the scope of the eyes of the world. And so what we're asking people to do, as we get updates to this story, we will post them on our Twitter feed, which is the CCR, but we're asking people to make demands of the Algerian government to say, where is this person? This is classic human rights advocacy when people begin to disappear. So I want to close by saying that Mr. Naji's description of being caught between fires, I think, applies not just to him. I think it actually applies to the Obama administration. The administration is caught between the fire of Congress that refuses, and I mean refuses, to let the Obama administration release people either into the United States to detention facilities or to third countries, or to repatriate them without jumping through hoops. And the human rights organizations on the left that say that human rights and the Constitution demand that happen. He's caught between the military and the DOJ within his own administration. I know you probably have all heard this, that there is a raging battle within the administration about between the old heads and the new heads. And the old heads, the military, always seems to win out. And he is caught between fires of his practical vision of a presidency and his human rights vision of the presidency. That was the reason, at least certainly, that I was hoping that he was going to be the president. But if you look at the left-hand or the right-hand column of those fires, if you look at the fires on the right, is that he's got alignment from human rights organizations, the Department of Justice, and he's got a human rights vision. And I would submit that that has not been something that we've seen in this country ever, where you have that type of alignment. And this is the moment for us to keep pushing the Obama administration to go back to the human rights vision and not just the practical vision of trying to appease the right-wing Brady cats every time that they blog, oh my goodness, somebody's going to come and blow us up. This is about going back to thinking about it as Matthew and Congressman Nadler and Adam and Marcy think about it, which is that there is a vision to uphold, there are laws that apply to it, there are very good policy reasons and political reasons to do it, so we need to push him to do that. Thank you.